Our Boston Celtics with a big win last night against the Charlotte Hornets, 113-107, in an exciting back and forth, thrilling finish. We've seen a Lamelo Ball career night. Excellent team win. We saw some key players step up, not named Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. We're not going to waste any more time, guys. We're going to get straight to it. I'm going to give my reaction after going over both of the box scores, some of my key takeaways, but again, straight to it. Boston Celtics, 113-107. And as you know, tradition, my player of the game, right below us, Josh Richardson, 23 points off the bench, 8 for 12 from the field, 6 for 8 from the three-pointer. I mean, the defensive effort, both sides of the ball. I know a lot of us were excited to see Moses Brown, and I know a lot of people that I speak to about Bowl, especially my Bowl video. It's kind of like you often hear them bring up Moses Brown. But the reality is we gave up Moses, who's not even playing in Dallas, and we got back Josh Richardson, who has been everything that this team could have imagined and more. But looking at the rest of the team, the Charlotte Hornets came into this game knowing that they were going to take away the Jays. They straight up said, we are not going to let Jason Tatum beat us. And then it kind of fell to the rest of the team. They, like I said, made a huge effort trying to take the Jays out. Unfortunately, the rest of the team stepped up. Looking at Marcus Smart, look no further. My last video, I was talking about his recent play. He was actually my player of the game from the Miami game. And it continues. Look at him tonight. 7 for 11 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 6 for 6 from the free throw, 22 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, again, coming into this game, I highlighted he has, been 10 or 11 points, 7 assists since returning in those 5 games leading up to tonight. Obviously one of, if not the best, defender in the NBA when it comes to the perimeter as a guard. I mean, what he's been doing recently, my man Sixth Mike actually made a great point, not getting caught up in the moment, because we've seen this before with Marcus, but he is putting together one of the better stretches of play that I can remember. So let's just keep it going, Marcus. But anyways, Jason Tatum, 6 for 16 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, 19 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, so pretty much close to a triple-double watch. And then Jaylen Brown, 7 for 15, 0 for 3 from the 3, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I do not like the fact that they were 1 for 10 combined, the Jays, from 3. But rounding out, we had Al Horford, 6 points, 12 rebounds, and of course, Time Lord Rob Williams, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He was phenomenal. One of those blocks basically was the game-winning block. We'll get to this. We'll get to the core. Off the bench, like I said, I already got to Josh Richardson. Grant Williams, another one. As you can see, guys, this was a tight one. Only 8 players. This was a playoff-type game because Hornets did pretty much the same. They didn't go deep into the rotation, just like the other night. I believe the Miami game, I made the comment, there was like 13, 14 players they played. Tonight, only 8. I mean, Grant, 3 for 6 from the 3. Again, when you take into consideration Grant Williams and Josh Richardson, who are the 2 best three-pointers in the team, again, that just blows my mind to even say that out loud, that those are the 2 best three-pointers on the Celtics. They were, 9 for 14 combined from 3. Grant Williams with 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Showing love and respect to the opponent. Lamelo Ball. How special is that kid, huh? I mean, career night for him. As you can see, 38 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. He was 12 for 24 from the field, 4 for 10 from the 3. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry. I mean, God, he's one of my favorite players in the league. I miss Terry Rozier so much. You'll often hear me say one of my biggest regret moves is, and I love Kemba, but it was the Kemba Walker. You'll often hear me call it the panic signing because we lost Kyrie, Kyrie and Al at that time, Marcus Morris. So I feel like they should have just stayed the course and signed Terry Rozier, which would have been for half the amount of money of Kemba, and kept together these multiple. That would have been 4 straight draft picks they would have kept together. Look at how Terry's been playing recently. Or not even recently, the last couple of years, since leaving Boston. Tonight, again, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. And when he hit that three-pointer to tie it up with a minute left, because the last time they played Charlotte, he destroyed us. And when he hit that 3 with a minute left, I'm like, here we go again. Here we go. PJ Washington, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Miles Bridges, only 2 for 8. He only had 6 points, 3 rebounds. An interesting game from him. Kelly Oubre off the bench, 15 points. And as I mentioned, guys, look, they only went 8 deep into their rotation as well. So very tight back and forth game. Neither team really going deep. This had playoff atmosphere written all over it. So just a few takeaways, guys. Looking at the actual game itself, Boston Celtics had 6 total players in double digits. Again, Lamelo Ball with his career high. That's nothing new for the Boston Celtics. We've given that up all year. David Boston Jr. with the Los Angeles Clippers. Just the other night, Jose Alvarado with the New Orleans Pelicans. So why not, of course, give it to Lamelo Ball too. The Celtics love giving up career nights. But again, I already mentioned Smart and his continued strong play. Very, very solid since returning from his injury. I believe it's 6 total games now. Same with Josh Richardson. This gentleman has been everything this team could have wanted and more. And again, the Hornets made a huge effort to take out the Jays, and they really did. You got to give credit where it's due. They said that someone else has to beat us tonight, and it's not a bad defensive approach, because normally this team and the bench and everyone else around is not going to shoot like they did. So got to give credit where it is due. I want to quickly go over the game script and just a glance over the first, back and forth, very tightly contested, 27-22 after the end of the first quarter. Second, you would see the Celtics get up to a 10-point lead. It was almost instantly eliminated by the Hornets. So, and once again, a back and forth quarter. It was 53-54 going into the half. Now, same thing in the third quarter. Celtics would get a 10-point lead, get it cut to 2, build it back up to a 10. The Celtics actually scored 18 of the final 26 points of the third quarter and would take an 88-78 10-point lead into the fourth. Now, that was pretty much the same, 10-point lead or so the first several minutes of the fourth quarter. And then the Hornets would start charging back late, getting it to within 5 points with only 3 minutes to go, 103-98. And Jason Tatum would get a technical foul on a Lamelo Ball foul, which would make it a 103-101. We can get into the refereeing and especially Tatum versus LaMelo. That's a completely different argument. But regardless, that was with 2 minutes left. Jaylen Brown and PJ Washington would trade made shots before, as I mentioned, the Terry Rozier three-pointer, 107-107 with a minute left. Jason Tatum with a little redemption, getting fouled with about 30 seconds left, hitting the 2 clutch free throws, setting up the play of the game with Rob Williams blocking PJ Washington with less than, 28 seconds or so to go. What the hell was PJ Washington thinking? This is Rob Williams, first off. This is a guy that's blocked James Harden's three-pointers, Dame Lillard's three-pointers. This dude is not to mention PJ. Do you need your eyes checked, bro? By the time you shot that ball, Rob was already airborne. He was already on you. I don't, what were you thinking? That was just, and I get it, bro. You're a little excited, down by 2. That 3 would have put you up with less than 30 seconds. You've got drama with the baby mama and the child support. I get you, PJ Washington. I'm supporting you, bro. But Lord have mercy. You know better now, man. That was Time Lord in your grill. But some of my other takeaways, guys. This Boston Celtics team has now won 10 out of the last 14 games, so 10-4 in the last 14, 7 out of the last 10, 3 straight, which is actually tied with Toronto for the longest active streak in the Eastern Conference at 3. And as you know, 1 week away until the trade deadline, fast approaching. We're all over the rumors with Dennis Schroeder, and I mean, we can go into that. We have gone into that. Another thing to mention is that we are 7 games away until All-Star break. I believe the reserves will actually be announced today. Me and Bobby will be doing our next episode of Trust the Podcast tomorrow, Friday. So maybe me and him will actually do our simulated, All-Star draft. But we're rolling right now. 10-4 out of the last 14. For the first time this season, the Boston Celtics are 3 games over 500. I mean, and is it a coincidence? It's the first time this season we're actually healthy? Now, if you look at the remaining games up till All-Star break, as I said, the Celtics are 28 wins, 25 losses, 9th seed. We've got Detroit Friday. Then we've got Orlando. We've got the Nets. Then we've got the trade deadline. So those are the last 3 till the trade deadline. Then we've got Denver, Atlanta, the Sixers, and Detroit. And then it would be the All-Star break. Once returning from the All-Star break, we play only 22 more games before the season ends, guys. So, again, we've only got 7 games, a week and a half or 2 weeks until All-Star break. And then we would only have 22 games left. If the season was to end today, the current play-in, you would have the Hornets and the Raptors playing in the first game. That game, essentially, the winner would secure the 7th seed. And then in the second game, you would have Boston and Atlanta playing. That game, the winner would play the loser of the Hornets and Raptors for the 8th seed. So essentially, right now, if the season ended today, Boston would have to beat both the Atlanta Hawks and the loser of the Raptors and the Hornets to get into the 8th seed. So let's hope Brooklyn in the 6th seed is really not out of range. I mean, they, I believe, only have 1 more win than the Celtics. I think 2 or 3 less losses. But with the way they're actually going, and they're clearly going down as the Celtics are going up, who knows? I mean, can we actually potentially catch them and get the 6th seed? I mean, you got the Cavs up there. I mean, there's a few teams that are in striking distance. And like I said, 22 plus the 7. So you're talking about, 29 games left. Very curious to see what happens next, guys. But James Peters, Jags to Riches, on behalf of Celtics Corner, thank you so much for your time. No game tonight. Celtics will be back tomorrow against the Detroit Pistons. Me and Bobby will be back with another episode of Trust the Podcast tomorrow. That'll be Friday. I'm not exactly sure on the time, so be staying tuned for that. And as I said, if the All-Star reserves are announced, which I believe they are, maybe me and him can do our draft. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for your time. Have an incredible conclusion to your day. Take care, guys.